Welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Olson here, and I am with Good Success. I am with Community Go-Giver, and I am with the 30 Days to Good Success journey. Yes, I wrote this book last year. I'm really proud of this book. I'm actually going to write a book that goes along with it, and I'm also in the middle of writing a book called Good Success, The Right Kind of Success. I'm sure if you're already here at question 14, you've gone through the first 13 questions. I hope that you've enjoyed them. I hope that some of those, I think that probably been a little uncomfortable, right? And I think that knowing that this is what matters most, knowing that we have to endure this, knowing that at the end of the day, that if I fulfill what's in this book, all the other success books won't matter, because I will have worked on myself, and I will have fulfilled my purpose in life. I've realized, I've figured out why I was created, and I went after it. And this is kind of where a lot of the business books start. So I think a lot of the business books are good. I think there's some really good material in some of those business books. I can give you recommendations of hundreds of books that I've read that I think have gotten really big pieces of knowledge in that I've been able to implement in my businesses. I've read books like Traction, like Scaling Up, like Think and Grow Rich, like The One Thing. I've already mentioned lots of other books like The Go-Giver, What Matters Most, Extreme Ownership, the Bible, I think, where all wisdom really originates from, which is God. But question number 14 is something that I am pretty passionate about. I didn't used to be so passionate about this, but I was at a mastermind one time, and somebody asked me this question, and this was probably 7, 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago. And they said, hey, what are your big goals? Have you told anybody? What are your big goals, and have you told anybody? So I want you to think about that right now. Stop everything you're doing and just stop and think about what are really your big goals. Different people call these different things. I've heard it called BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. I've heard it called your 10-year target. I've heard it called whatever. And, if you think about companies like Nike, for instance, their mantra or their big goal is to crush Adidas. Now, I don't really know all about that. I prefer Adidas over Nike myself personally. But Microsoft, I think at one point, was to have a computer accessible to every single American and every single person in the world. And they've pretty much, maybe quite, not to the world, but definitely in the United States, a computer is definitely accessible to most people. So what are your big goals? What are the things that you want to do to change this world, to leave this world a better place? What could you do? Why were you created? What can you end up leaving this world having somebody thanking God that you lived your life? And that's what I want to get to. I don't just want to get to, I want to retire. Yes, retirement is fine for some people. Financial freedom, I think, is a goal. We're actually even going to get to financial freedom in this workbook, because I think financial freedom is important. But I think how do you want to leave this earth? If you knew right now that you only had a year left to live, what would you do in this next year? What would you spend your time doing? And once you've figured that out, once you have come to the realization that, hey, I only have so much time on this earth, then what could you get done in the next 50 years? That's how I want you to think about this, with urgency, with a passion. Because when we start thinking in larger terms, where it's a lot more than just all about us, what can we do? Who could we help? And am I going to be willing to be committed to this goal and to this commitment and to these people that I believe I was placed on this earth to love and placed on this earth to serve? So what are your, I don't care what they are. You can call them bucket lists if you want to. But what are your big ones? I'm wanting to know, not, hey, I want to go skydiving, not I want to go on a cruise or go to Disney World. That's not what I'm talking about. I think those lists are fine. And I think maybe everybody should have a couple of those that they want to check off throughout their life to be able to have a fulfilled and live a life that they feel like they got some enjoyment out of as well. We are supposed to be full of joy. But I'm more worried and more focused on trying to get you to think big here. So think big. What are your big goals? I have 2 gigantic, massive goals in my lifetime. And my 2 big goals, number 1, I want to give away $1 billion. And I know that sounds crazy. I honestly don't even know how I'm going to do it. I don't have an exact plan to be able to give away $1 billion. All I know is it's my big goal. I know that in the next 10 years, I'm going to be closer to that target than I am today. I know that every year and every week I track every bit of my giving. And I do that not so I can be boastful or proud or I can pump my chest and say I did something awesome or amazing. It's just what my goal is. And it's just something, and I know I'll never hit that goal unless I track it, unless I remind myself of it, unless I put it in front of me, and lastly, unless I tell other people about it. So that's my first goal. My second big goal is to flip the city of Gary, Indiana. And I was at a mastermind about 10 years ago, and I kind of got called out on the carpet because somebody asked me what my 2 big goals are. What do I really want? Or what my big goals were. And I told them those 2 things. And then I kind of backed up and I said, I think this is the first time I've ever verbalized this. I've never told this to anybody. I've thought about it and it's been inside of me, but I've never really verbalized it. And he didn't say shame on me, but at the end of the day, I kind of felt like he was saying shame on you. And I'm going to kind of say that to you right now. You have been given these goals. You have been given these dreams to help other people. You've been given a purpose. And most of the time, we push down our purpose. We push up our pride and we push down our purpose. And I'm here to ask you to dig deep inside and switch that, reverse that, push down pride and push up your purpose. Push up why you were here, placed on this earth. And I'm going to tell you, it's never because of you. It's never so you can retire, so you can sit on a house on a hill with a pocket full of $100 bills. It's never so you can sit on a beach. That's not why you were created. You were created for a purpose. In my opinion, we're all created for 2 big things: to glorify God, to love God, and to love others. And that love that we are supposed to show, to be that conduit, is everybody's purpose. Everybody's purpose is to love somebody. And the way you work that out, the way you work out your salvation, the way you work through that, or you are a reflection of that love and all those things that you've been given, is up to you. That's the free will that we've been given. So he told me, he said, if you never tell anybody, you will never reach those goals. And I'm going to tell you that right now. If you would never tell anybody what those big goals are, you'll never reach them, because you haven't even held yourself accountable enough to open your mouth and tell your communities or tell the people that you're trying to serve that, hey, I want to try to serve you. I may not be the best person. I honestly don't know how I'm flipping Gary. All I know is I'm doing what I've been given as skills and as network, and I'm working in the single family house community right now, and I'm working on trying to change the messaging, because anybody and everybody can do that. So I'm working on trying to change the messaging of Gary today. I have a goal in 10 years to have I had a goal of 100 houses, and that's already been way past done, and to have 10 blocks, so we're working towards different things and changing our 10-year target, because we're hitting these goals faster than what I expected. But I really am trying to bring jobs and trying to tell people about how Gary could be amazing if people would just start focusing on it. And it's really changing. It's amazing. Every couple of weeks, I swear I hear about a new company or a new plant that's coming to Gary, Indiana, or Amazon possibly. And Amazon even brought a distribution center to Gary already, and many other things have already happened since this. I can't contribute any of it or all of it to myself, but all I can tell you is it's fun to be a part of something that's much bigger than me. And I promise you, for you, it'll be so much more fun being a part of something that's much bigger than just what you want and what you want to be able to own, or the financial freedom that you can have. So what are those big goals? So what are they? Big goal number 1, big goal number 2. If you go to page 84, it kind of has 3. If you have more than that, that's fine. I'm really looking though for that number 1, that one thing that you want to accomplish, or maybe 2 like I have. If you have 3, that's fine. But what communities were you created to serve? And I think those big goals ought to coincide. They ought to be there. A lot of times our story kind of tells us, we get hints from our story. And me, one of my stories is I end up moving to Gary, Indiana in 2006 when the economy kind of went to pot for most of us. I was in new construction, and new construction went from 500 new building permits per month to like 50 overnight. And I went from making six figures with my job and side work to like $20,000 a year overnight. And I had to figure out, like, what in the world am I doing? I'm picking up my family and moving them to Gary, Indiana, bought a house cash for $19,000, rented my other house that I was in Crown Point, Indiana, and even had boarders living in my basement to help me pay for my expenses. I figured it out. I was resourceful. And during that time, I feel like that's when I was given this vision, or given this mission to flip the city of Gary. And these people needed hope. And wherever God's placed you, wherever you have been able to serve already, or the experiences that you have, a lot of times those experiences bring forth, maybe you were mistreated as a child, or maybe you see other children out there that are hurting. You may have a heart for those people. You may have a heart for whatever it is that you have a heart for. I believe you need to get out and serve those people. So are you committed to those people? Are you dedicated to wake up every morning and to be disciplined on it? And then lastly, who are you going to tell? Are you going to tell the whole world? Are you going to try to tell every single person? And not so you can pump your chest. Please be careful of that. That can get very easy to do. I've given six figures many, many years, but I try to be careful about that because I don't want the accolades here on this earth. I'm really looking for eternity, and really looking for, how can I make a difference in the next 200 years or the next millennium? And this is what I believe good success is really all about: pushing down the pride, pushing up purpose, and loving people. So I ask you again, what are your big goals? What communities are you going to serve? Are you really willing to put the time and the commitment that it's going to take to love those people and to be charitable? I believe charity is so much more than giving. It is a way of living. And there's so many people out there that they put me to shame, and I need to do better at this every single day. I need to work harder at these goals. And I hope that this has encouraged you to do the same. So that's going to do it for today. We will be back here tomorrow with question number 14, day number 14 of the 30 days to good success. Have a good day.